What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
And today we're going to be checking out US versus UK fish and chips. This one I'm very excited about because I love fish and chips, but I can never find good fish and chips where we live.
Yeah, well, we're landlocked. We're like way in the middle.
We live
of the US,
literally like, I don't know, what are we, like 15 hours from the coast? So
that makes sense.
But I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up probably about 2 hours from the closest beach and probably 2.5 to 3 hours from the beaches we would normally go to. So it was much easier to get fish and chips growing up than it is now.
Yeah.
Obviously we called it like fish and fries. Usually it was like a fish fry is what we would call it in the local community. Like they'd put on fish fries every once in a while where you go, and it was always flounder. That was always the main fish, and it's still my favorite fried fish today.
I am actually looking forward to this too, even though I don't eat fish and chips. I'm not a fish fan. I'm not a seafood fan. But I am curious to see the difference because I'm very familiar with Long John Silver's is what it looks like here in the US they're going to compare to. It had been a long time since I'd eaten there, and then I went there a couple weeks ago actually with my mom and Sophia for lunch one day because we were going to the thrift stores really far away on a road trip, and so we stopped there for lunch, and it was a bad experience, like really bad, and the quality has just gone way downhill.
Well, like, what do you expect when you're this far inland? Honestly, you're not going to get the best quality.
It's everything, all of everything.
Right, just not good.
Was not good.
My mom always liked Long John Silver. Obviously, we don't know if the golden chippy it looks like here. We don't know if that's like a big chain or if it's a smaller, just a one place shop.
Yeah.
But I do know that the UK has fish and chip shops everywhere.
Which makes sense.
Makes sense.
You're a big island.
Big island, and I think you're at no farther than 70 miles from the coast, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
So like an hour or so.
So.
Yeah, it makes sense. But guys,
I feel like you're gonna win this one.
Yeah, I think you're definitely gonna win this one. I'm honestly a little bit jealous of how easy you could probably get good fish and chips in the UK. But we are rambling. We're gonna go and jump in here and check out the US versus UK fish and chips.
We got our food today from the Golden Chippy in Greenwich. For me, it's a pretty classic British fish and chip shop.
For the US, we're using a few different fish and chip sources. Most Americans are familiar with the pirate-themed fish chain Long John Silver's. This is where we got a majority of the food today. We also got a fish and chips order from a local restaurant.
All the food that we ordered today came from Assault and Battery here in New York. They seemed like the most close to a traditional fish and chips from the UK. And it got the very stamp of approval.
The most popular fish and chip fish in the UK is cod. Our Chippy offered it in 2 sizes, regular and large.
At Long John Silver's, the main fish they serve there is Alaskan pollock. And it comes in a bunch of sizes. Starting down here, a 1-piece, just a piece. Then you get a 2-piece as a meal, a 3-piece as a meal, and a 6-piece as a meal. Now, there's also 12-piece family meals and 16-piece family meals.
Ooh. Let's weigh the UK cod portions.
These are huge, I love it.
270 grams, and our large was 352 grams.
How many LJS pieces of fish would equal that? Let's find out. 1 was 73. This is as close I'm gonna get it without breaking a fish and it getting kind of gross in here. So this Long John Silver's Alaskan pollock pieces is 364 grams. 5-piece of LJS equals a little more than 1.
Wow. Okay, I'm confused. Like, why is that piece of cod so much bigger? Is it just
because it's meatier?
Yeah, that's what. Is it a whole
the Long
piece
John
versus
Silver's,
cut up?
Granted, I don't. Yeah, it looks like a whole piece. Granted, I don't eat the fish at Long John Silver's, but they have chicken that's prepared the same way.
Yeah.
And the amount of chicken you get now per piece is so small, and it's mostly batter. So I think that's what
they're doing there. Look, they cut it up, and so it takes more batter.
So even though you're getting the same amount of weight, it's mostly batter.
Yeah, I think the one on the left, the UK version, is going to win.
Oh, for sure.
Cod.
I also wanted to measure them to check the length. So our regular cod is 10 inches long, and our large cod is 12 inches, a foot-long cod. The UK chippies are famously generous with their chip portion sizes. No, I'm not going to call them fries in this episode. Our local chippy offers them in 2 sizes, regular and large.
Here in America, we call those fries, yet we still call this fish and chips. So the chips that came with this order will weigh right now.
So our regular was 682 grams, and our large portion.
Do those
are big orders.
Do they look underdone to you?
Almost a kilogram.
To me, they do.
Yeah, we like crispy chips.
I feel like we've had this debate before
Yeah.
on here. And I do think that in the UK, at least what little I know about it, the chips do not tend to be as crispy.
I don't know. Let us know. I love crispy chips. Except, I will say, at a fish fry, I kind of like them a little softer.
Really?
There's something about with fish, it just...
Makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but maybe it's just when I've had it in the past, I've gotten less crispy chips.
Yeah.
So...
Of chips.
148 grams. Puck that dick. I just want to point out that this whole meal, while I'm here, 305 grams. Hey, I'll even weigh the lemon you don't eat. Oh, thanks. 317.
We can't cover all of the regional delicacies that you'll find across the UK, but we've picked a chippy that we think covers the basics.
It's a similar
We've had the last one, right?
Fish and other seafood are consumed all over the country in a bunch of different forms. We'll be covering classic fried fish options and using Long John Silver's as a baseline. Or bass line. Get it?
To start with the fish itself, the range can vary every day as it depends on what's available at the market. The best fish and chip shops will be getting their fish fresh every day rather than keeping things frozen for too long. Cod is the UK's most popular fish and chip fish. It accounts for around 64% of the fish that we consume.
I like cod.
Chippies. Haddock follows that with around 19% of the market share.
So right now the fried fish at Long John Silver's menu is pollock and in some locations cod. Here's the pollock from
I'm surprised I'm not hearing flounder.
Here's a cod from our local fish and chippery. Now,
I love
Long
flounder.
John Silver's fish option seems to vary year on year. Cod was a permanent menu item, then disappeared for a while, but now it seems to be back.
I'm gonna like cod.
This is really dense. Like if you could see the pollock, it's flaking like fish would, right?
Gotta arm myself properly with some classic British chip shop forks. I mean, cod is the classic.
I have never seen that before.
I haven't either.
Haddock is strongly favoured by the north of England
Look how
and most
meaty.
of Scotland. Haddock is great. It's very flaky.
I don't even know if I've ever had haddock.
I kind of want to do like a side-by-side with the cod because I sometimes struggle to tell the difference between those two, to be honest. The haddock is super light, super flaky, almost like melts in your mouth. I'd say maybe the haddock also has slightly more of a fishy flavor than the cod.
So I have the haddock and the cod in front of me. I'm gonna try to see if there's
good.
any sort of difference
That does
in
look
the way
good.
that each tastes. This is the haddock and this is the cod. Okay, let's start with the haddock.
That looks very comparable to the British
I
version.
don't feel like the haddock has a very fishy taste or a strong taste at all, but let me take a little piece of the actual fish. Very, very, very slightly has like a fishy taste, but you can barely taste it in the batter. It's really good though. I like that.
I love that crisp
I thought these were gonna
sound.
taste a lot more
I
similar,
know, I'm
but they
getting
actually
hungry.
taste pretty different. I really
And you don't even like fish.
Yeah.
the taste of cod, I guess. I know Harry said that the haddock tends to have a stronger, fishier taste, but I disagree. I feel like this is a much more tame and subtle fish flavor, and this is like really in your face fish. It actually reminds me of frozen American fish sticks.
We're also able to get
Those used to be your thing.
Yeah, I used to eat those all the time.
Refers to a species of fish called the rock salmon, which is also known as dogfish. The fun thing about this one is that it's actually a species of shark. I do find that this one has a much more like meaty texture to it.
I figured.
Quite a strong flavor. You might look at the rock portion here and think, oh, it's a lot smaller, but I do think it's just like a lot more dense and rich. Just admire this piece of plate.
What?
real quick. As you can probably tell by looking at it.
Oh,
Wow.
It's a much flatter fish. One thing I do love about
Place.
is that given how much surface area
Have you ever heard of that?
that's just all an opportunity to crisp up. The meat itself stays again nice.
I think I would like the texture, like how crispy it would
strong
be.
flavor to it. Next up we have the halibut. You can already see
halibut.
just from tearing
There's
that
so many
apart.
different kinds.
This has a bit of a denser texture to it, not quite as flaky. And then finally we have skate on the menu. We actually got this one grilled, which is an option that you can have with all of the fish on the menu in the Golden Chippy.
Skate,
I will
is
say
that a
having grilled
stingray?
fish on the menu isn't super common at fish and chip shops across the UK. This might just be a nice little bougie London option.
So here we have two other seafood options from the same fish and chip shop. We have sole and we have some battered shrimp. I had never seen shrimp battered with the tail on, and the tail is also completely battered.
I do not like shrimp.
Just like accidentally eat that, I guess.
Okay, I gotta admit something.
You like shrimp?
I don't think I've ever had.
I hear that from you all the time. It's like I don't like peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I've never had peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
No,
but
it's just like I don't like seafood really. Like I don't like the fishy taste of things.
you don't like this fishy smell, fishy taste, yeah.
And aren't shrimp like when you bite them? Don't you have to like pull the bone out and like?
I've only ate shrimp a handful of times in my life, and that's because I never liked it anytime I had it. And it's literally probably been, I don't know, a decade since I've tried it because I just didn't like it.
And isn't there like what is it called, like the mud vein or whatever?
Yeah, but that's usually removed.
Oh, okay.
It's usually removed unless you went somewhere they didn't remove it, I guess.
Out, so I just never even want to bother with it.
Like, if you didn't know, it's huge. These are big shrimp.
Those are jumbos.
Yeah, this is really good. I've never hated a shrimp dish. I had sole before.
I wish I liked shrimp.
Sole, and it was cooked completely differently, not battered.
Look at that batter. Wow.
It smells way better than the cod. It's definitely a fishier taste than the haddock, but not as fishy as the cod was, in my opinion. I think
fishy isn't fishy?
I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to try
like
malt
that
vinegar
strong
on fish for the first time. I've only ever had it.
What is that?
Oysters.
Malt vinegar.
This is really good. I really like it.
Then we have what I'll call miscellaneous seafood options. Cod goujons. Goujon is basically a fancy French word for a nugget or a tender.
Oh, it's a fish tender.
Goujonifying something.
I've never seen that before, have you?
To eat it. Scampi is actually an Italian word that refers to the tail of pretty much any kind of prawn. In the UK, however, it pretty much only refers to the tail of a langoustine. A langoustine is actually closer to a lobster than a prawn.
That's what I was saying, it kind of looks like a lobster.
Despite the biological differences, in the UK, a lot of people do still use the terms interchangeably.
A chain like Long John Silver's does offer a lot of varieties of shrimp, so all those varieties could be exclusive.
He got the
Long John
knockoff fish.
Silver's in Los Angeles does not, unfortunately.
It looks very sad.
Yeah, he got stuck with Long John Silver's.
Is the battered shrimp. In the U.S., size is one general indicator. Shrimp is the more common term, but prawns are sometimes used to describe larger varieties. Here are shrimps that are big-ish, and we also got shrimp tacos from a spot across the street.
Here is one of our peeled scampi.
I mean, these are pretty big-sized. No one's like, is this a prawn?
So yeah, I'd say probably more on the langoustine prawn side, definitely not a shrimp. You know what? After tasting it, that actually does have a much more lobstery taste than a prawny taste to me. So that actually might be doing it by the book at the Golden Chippy.
I'm not impressed by big shrimp. They're meant to be small. We use the word shrimp to describe something small. Shrimp should be small. Put it on a billboard.
Next up we have
That's
cod
true.
roe.
Yeah.
If you see cod roe on the menu at a British chip
What
shop,
is it?
what you're actually getting is kind of like a
What is
pressed,
that?
almost like pate version of fish eggs.
Oh, cod roe.
Not
No.
as bad as I thought it was going to be. The texture's not brilliant.
Oh, no.
It's not terrible. It kind of just almost reminds me of the texture of like tuna or something, like raw tuna.
I don't like tuna either.
Generally speaking, it refers to a mixture of potato and fish. Yeah, this one in particular.
Fish potato
This kind of feels
cake.
like a more grown-up fish finger, which I like. Moving away from the fish, there are lots of other staples on
What
a
is that
British
thing in the
chip
middle?
menu that might blow the minds of the average.
Is that a breaded hot
With
dog?
some sausage options. Here we have a jumbo sausage. It is one of those kind of like very nostalgic chip shop greasy spoon sausages that they all seem to have. Here we have a battered sausage. It's
I
literally
have
one of those
never
battered
seen
sausage.
that.
I haven't
love
either.
These wraps
You guys
are
have-
my go-to order.
You guys have battered. Basically, I'd
That
call that
sounds
a.
like an American.
Right, it does. Like you have like battered hot dogs, basically.
It's not quite a corn dog.
Right,
Like,
right.
Corn dogs have the
Oh,
thick
yeah.
cornmeal.
Do you guys do corn
batter.
dogs over there? I mean, that's something that's kind of, especially with kids.
This reminds me of something you'd see at like a state fair or something.
I've never seen it though.
I know, but it's like
Right, it's got kind
they
of
throw
vibe.
everything in batter and
Right, fry it up. Yeah, like okay. I mean, obviously, I don't think that's I think that's more like what you would consider like a full-on sausage instead of a hot dog.
Yeah.
But you know, sausages and hot dogs are very similar, except the sausage is a little more flavored or a little more spicy. And okay, a breaded sausage.
It doesn't look very appealing.
I don't know. I'm not a big sausage person myself. Like
Yeah.
I like a little like breakfast sausage here or there, but it's not something I would eat for like dinner or lunch or
Yeah.
something.
Order when I was a kid and we would get fish and chips. And then this alarmingly red sausage on the end is a saveloy. Saveloy is a British classic. Traditionally, they were made with pig brains. Although nowadays, I think that has been foregone in favor of just regular ground pork. It's a heavily spiced sausage with a distinctive red casing. It gets
Heavily
this from being
spiced.
boiled in water, which has food coloring added to it. One thing I do love about these is the thickness of the casing and the kind of snap that you get.
Oh wow, that is thick.
These have always kind of fascinated me because it's somewhere between like a standard British sausage, but also with kind of like hot dog elements to
Yeah, I
it.
thought so.
Yeah, I remember that sausage. It tasted weird. It tastes like a sausage that's wrong. It tasted
Wrong.
like somebody guessed what a sausage was supposed to taste like.
I was able to get a battered sausage, and that's
Wait,
what it looks like.
what?
Okay, this place must be more of like a traditional British pub type fish and chip.
Yeah, I've lived in America the vast majority of my life, except when we went outside and traveled over to Asia for a while. And I have literally, and I've lived in multiple states, and I've gone to different fairs and stuff, and I've literally never seen a battered sausage or a battered hot dog.
Either, but New York has everything. So.
Yeah, that's true. New York pretty much has everything. It's like anything you want any time of day. So it really, I guess it doesn't surprise me that New York would be the place you'd find something like this.
Yeah, true.
Like,
It's very thickly battered.
That is very
thick. I
thick.
Understand now why Joe is always saying that UK sausages taste different. They do, but it's got a really nice crunch from the little casing.
Wow, that's a big sausage.
Really, really good with this batter. I think the sausage brings a much needed saltiness to the batter. So Harry likes to compare this to an American corn dog.
Nah.
I just don't see it.
I can see it.
I guess I kind
It's
of
not.
see it a little bit because it's a type of sausage inside of a batter, but that's literally where the comparison ends.
No, a corn dog here. Obviously, it's
it's a hot dog.
It's a pure hot dog and not like sausagey flavor at all.
Yeah.
And second, it is a smooth batter usually on the outside. It's not rough like that. And
it's
third,
not really crispy.
And it's not really
like
crispy.
soft.
It's more soft. You actually
bready.
It's bready,
bready,
but the ends, which I love, get a little bit crispy on like the tip and near the stick.
Isn't it like cornbread basically?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's really good dipped in mustard and ketchup. That's what I do. Usually you'll find them at like ballparks and stuff like that.
corn dogs.
I like a good corn dog in there, but I grew up with them. I grew up with corn dogs.
For me, the batter is completely different to corn dog batter, and the sausage inside is not a hot dog. So it's a totally different taste. They're cousins. I'll give you that. Katya, please put a picture of a corn dog.
Yeah,
right here.
that's the corn dog. Yeah.
And then tell Harry.
Yeah.
that he's crazy.
Pies are on pretty much every British fish and chip shop menu. Here we have a steak and kidney pie
Oh.
and a Cornish pasty. Steak and kidney, in terms of pie filling, is about as British as it gets. I feel like often I would just
It's very
lean for,
mushy.
full
I've never
steak
had a
pie
meat
rather than
pie.
Steak and kidney. That's actually really good. You're not really getting full pieces of kidney, which is often what puts me off because the texture is a bit weird. We have sandwich options at UK Chippies as well. Firstly, we have a quarter pounder cheeseburger. Obviously, this isn't what most people would go to a chip shop to get.
Yeah.
We also have a chicken burger. I have a real soft spot in my heart for like a bad chicken burger. The patty on this one is kind of like a big chicken nugget. And then we also have a cod burger. This one of the three looks by far the best. The shop we went to today also sells chicken.
I just wanted to say,
everything.
I just want to say, yeah, they do. And here's the interesting thing. Usually, at least here in the U.S., I don't know if it's the same in the UK. I'm guessing it probably is. When you've got a specialty place, say a fish and chip shop, you would think they would do a really good job at fish and chips. But usually, the extra stuff that people don't generally go there to buy, they tend to be really bad at. At least that's my experience when you go to, for example,
you can only juggle so many.
You don't want to go to a steakhouse and get pizza if they order it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
Mean, there are probably a few exceptions.
Sure.
But overall, yeah, I would agree.
I wouldn't say this is common across the UK. I think it might just be more of a London thing. But we were able to get some southern fried chicken, a quarter roast chicken, and chicken nuggets.
On the sides, here's a few sides. You can get a Long John Silver's, and also we've got
My favorite.
American chips stroke fries.
The Hush
Down
Puppies.
Here, LJS has green beans, corn,
Coleslaw.
slaw. You know what it is, right? You can also get rice and cheese bites from various Long John Silver's locations. This right here, I've maybe mentioned this a few times on Food Wars or Food Tours episodes, our Hush Puppies. A donut hole is the
I
best way
don't
to
love
describe
their
it.
Hush
It's not.
Puppies. They're
It's a
really
piece of dough
oniony.
that's deep fried. Take a look.
I love Hush
Guy,
Puppies.
right? It's
Hillsborough
deep
Barbecue
fried,
has the best
red
one.
They have
onions.
excellent Hush
It's more
Puppies.
savory than sweet. You have a bit of an onion and garlic flavor to them.
Oh, I
You
love
dip them in
those.
the sauce.
Not that
Those are
brand.
good when you're eating
But-
really greasy fish and even greasy fries because they're dry, so they really like sop up that grease. These are fantastic. I could eat this whole tray. The fries you're gonna get at a U.S. fish and chip spot or a Long John Silver's are going to vary. These are the ones we got today.
Those
Crinkle
look
cut.
disgusting.
Those look horrible.
Spots in London. It felt like the fries, chips, they were thicker,
Soft.
denser, and not super crispy. I think you guys like to just dump all your malt vinegar and stuff.
Oh,
on the fish and the
yeah,
chips.
that's
I
true.
totally get it. I'm certain there are places in America that do more of the thicker steak cut fries.
Yeah, steak cut, that's
with
what I
the
was
fish
thinking.
and chips more traditional. I just think when you're dealing with Americans in America, when they think of chips or fries, they're just thinking of French fries, a majority of them.
Yeah.
So This is probably what we're going to get at most fish.
Those don't look good though.
No.
British chip shop chips, or chippy chips, as they're affectionately known.
Those don't
are
look
fantastic.
done to
They're
me.
very
No.
distinct
It's
from the
just
average
hard
chip
for me
or
to-
French fry that you might find elsewhere. You get potatoes, you peel them, you slice them thickly, which is very important. They're usually soaked in water to remove some of the starch. They're usually blanched in oil at quite a low temperature before being given a proper second cook at a higher temperature. The result really is quite unique. You get a thick cut chip, which when it's hot can be a bit crispy on the outside, but because of how thick they are, you still retain a lot of that kind of soft, chewy, potatoey goodness in the middle.
Fun fact, we actually did a home experiment making British chips.
On video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we used malt vinegar.
Yeah, we actually went and bought some malt vinegar.
And HP sauce.
Yeah.
And we made like a chip buddy.
Chip buddy, that's chip buddy, yeah.
That's so
yeah,
good.
and I liked that malt vinegar.
It was decent. I'm
Yeah.
not a huge vinegar.
But I'm not like with my fish. I do not want vinegar in my fish. I want to taste the actual fish and the
I mean,
fried.
I would try it that way
But-
if we come to the UK. Like,
Oh yeah, I would definitely try it that way. You'd have to. I'd try it the way everybody else does it on, average. But, as Lindsay will definitely vouch for, I am a very simple flavored person. I love, like, for example, one of my favorite fruits, vegetables, whatever you call it, it's actually a fruit, but it's cucumber with a little salt maybe. I like just plain stuff. I've never been like, I don't need like the strong flavors and stuff to satisfy me. I prefer like the more neutral and bland flavors personally.
yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
Sophia too.
Yeah, Sophia does too. But you love the like strong, like.
I mean, I used to more than I do now. I'm starting to go away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
And go a little more neutral. I think you're
Come
rubbing
over
off
to
on
my
me.
side.
Not everywhere, but sometimes they are cooked in the same oil as the
What
fish as well.
is that
So
right
all the
there?
flavors kind of mingling together.
Looks like eggs.
And it really does produce just
Yeah, it
a
does.
very
Hard-boiled
unique
eggs.
chip experience.
Except
I'm
for the
gonna
thing
try
on
the traditional chips.
Those look good.
Those look
Vinegar.
good. Yeah.
I actually think the vinegar tastes better on the battered fish than it does the chips, but that's just a preference thing, I think. I don't feel like it meshes really well with it. It just feels like I'm eating a wet
Is that mushy
fry.
peas?
It looks like
About
it.
British chip shop sides without talking about mushy peas. These ones are, I would say, pretty representative of a UK mushy pea in general. They have this quite almost alarming green color to them, and there's just something about them that pairs really well with chip shop chips and fish.
So like a
I'd say that's
guac
very much like
almost.
a don't knock it
Almost.
Until you've tried it food, where it might look a bit intimidating or a bit weird until you try it. Then you try it and you're like, oh, I get it now.
That's not terrible. It's definitely got something extra in there. It's not just mashed peas.
It looks like
but
guacamole.
I'm
It
gonna
does.
dip one of the chips into the mushy peas. Harry said I had to try it this way, bottoms up. That's actually really good together. I like that combo.
The chip shop we went to today offers baked beans as a side. Maybe not
Really?
one you'll find everywhere across the UK.
These are just as yummy as I remember. I just feel like the portion is so big.
Those
I can't
look good.
imagine
Very big.
eating this big of a bean
For one
portion.
person.
All right, I gotta say,
I'm shocked she was able to get that stuff.
if I want to get fish and chips and that type of food here in the U.S., I need to go wherever she's at.
I know, it looks really good.
That actually looks like you're getting closer to the vibe of the British experience than Long John Silver's does.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, where else would you get fish? I mean, mushy peas. Like, this has to be more of they're British inspired or something.
Maybe they're from Britain.
Yeah, maybe the owner's from Britain or something. I don't know, but like, I've never seen mushy peas on a menu here in the
Neither.
U.S. And it's kind of more of the vibe of what you're seeing from the UK, at least here. So,
But the sauce is so good.
A pretty common thing to find on a UK chip shop menu is just a bread roll. The type of bread that you get varies. This is kind of more like a crusty bread roll, but I've definitely seen kind of softer, more BAP style on the menu as well. This one comes buttered. The main reason why they offer bread rolls at fish and chip shops is so you can craft your own chip butty at home.
I had no idea what a chip buddy was, and never could I ever imagined it was just 2 pieces of bread with chips inside of it.
I know when I first heard that, I was kind of shocked
I'm
too.
gonna need Harry to explain this one to me. I don't get it.
Chip butty, for those who do not know, is an iconic British dish. Where
It's
you take
already
a bread
buttered.
roll, you take chips,
Yeah, he
you
just
put it
said
in the
that.
bread roll. Bob's your uncle. You have a chip butty.
Bob's
you
your
can
uncle.
optionally add other things. You can add some mushy peas in there. Might want to vinegar that. You might want to maybe put some fish in there as well. Create a
Little
sandwich,
HP
but
sauce.
in its simplest form, that is a chip butty right there. That's butty, B-U-T-T-Y, which is a regional word for a bread roll. That is another one that can change all over the UK depending on where you are. You might hear the word balm. You might hear bap.
This just looks like it would be the
That looks good.
Okay, I gotta say.
The chips with that type of bread, I think would be better than the way we tried it.
Yeah.
Because it's more crispy.
And those chips look crispier, and which is I definitely prefer the crispy chips.
Good.
I'm not a fan of the soft chips very much.
That's a huge sample.
It is. That is huge. So you can actually go to this place and get a chip buddy?
A salt and battery. I love the name.
A salt and battery. Oh, I didn't even get that. That is a good name. Okay. Wow.
World, so we're gonna skip that one.
Almost all fish and chip shops in the UK will have a range of pickles on offer. I would say we have the big three.
Oh, that's
right
a
here.
pickle.
Pickled egg.
A pickled egg.
Pickled onion?
Pickled gherkin. These are understandably a bit divisive. I feel like pickle things in general, you either love or you hate. I don't eat these things a lot, I'm going to be honest.
Oh!
Pickled onion!
Breath
It does put me off
after
is the
that.
texture.
Oh.
The flavors are really good. Pickled egg.
Nope.
Ew.
No
I
thanks.
praised them and then I just got a whack of it. In
No
the back of my
thanks.
throat. It's not my favorite thing. So inside it's just kind of like a hard-boiled egg, but obviously with a lot of that vinegary flavor on the outside. I think the egg it's so over.
I do
And the
like
gherkin
pickles.
we're so back because
I like a nice sour pickle with a sandwich.
a pickle we can all
Not sweet.
Not sweet. Ugh, no.
All of
Pickled
America, maybe they would like these kind of beans, since beans are already part of like barbecue culture. So
Yeah, I like
this
baked
wouldn't
beans.
be a huge jump. But the mushy peas, the chip buddy, that's confusing.
Then we're on to what I like to call the we have a fryer section of the menu. In this category today, we have a vegetable spring roll. We also have onion rings. And also garlicky mushrooms. I do like a garlic mushroom.
Wait.
Now it's time for...
Okay. There's no hush puppies on the menu.
Oh, that's true.
Wow.
You guys don't eat hush
Oh man, you're missing out so much on that.
Hush puppies are good.
Anytime you have a fish fry, or anytime you go to to the beach, you go get a fish plate, you're always going to have hush puppy options there. Like I can't imagine not. Like what is the replacement? Is that the onion
It's
rings?
probably like the roll.
The buttered roll is it? Yeah, because I don't know. I don't think we usually have like with fish. Normally a plate would be fish, chips, coleslaw, and sometimes baked beans, and then hush puppies, and what else? Sweet iced tea.
Did you say chips, fries?
Yeah, chips and sweet iced tea. Don't remember the sweet iced
drink
tea.
sweet iced
No, I
tea.
don't. I usually give my sweet iced tea away because I don't want it. But
Sauce talk.
sauce
Here's a
talk.
wide variety of sauces we can get at Long John Silver's and other fish and chip spots.
Tartar.
Malt vinegar, let's go.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smell
Curry
it.
sauce is found pretty much all over the UK.
Curry
and
sauce?
It's a favorite of mine. They add a lot of
Interesting.
thickeners to the mixture because they always have such a gloopiness. They're quite glossy. It just pairs really well with chips. There's like a sweetness to it. It's well spiced.
Some places, like the place we got the cod fish and chips from,
Tartar sauce.
Tartar.
their own sauce, their own signature sauce. Some places they'll just be generous.
It looks
with
like tartar
something that
sauce.
Maybe their own recipe. Because I'm telling you, the fish and chip game is as follows: have the best tartar sauce possible. We'll forgive how the fries are. We'll forgive.
I don't eat tartar sauce.
I don't
Sauce is
either.
on
It's
point.
always
And this
disgusted
sauce,
me.
Hang on.
It's chunky and
This is a very good sauce. Yes, I would frequent this place based on the sauce.
Our local chip shop in London also has gravy on the menu. This
Gravy?
thing is juicy and gelatinous. Chips and gravy
Wait,
are typically more of
what?
a northern thing here in the UK rather than a southern thing.
I think that's a Canadian thing
Tastes
here.
very much just
Is it?
like
Do
a
they
I
British
don't- I don't
do
know.
gravy?
But it's good. I like
Chips with gravy. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, like their dish of the nation is poutine, right? In Canada.
I have no idea how you know
So,
that.
I just know it. And I think it has gravy on it. But I don't know if it's brown gravy or white gravy.
Okay. I mean, I would give it a go. It's just something I never
I
really.
think it's like fries, cheese curds, gravy.
Well, no, I'm
know.
specifically talking about the gravy. Like,
I know, but gravy and chips.
yeah, I would give it a go, but it's not something I.
Mashed
Would-
potatoes and gravy, you like that?
No, of course, and I can see maybe that's where it's coming from. But like, it's not something I've ever really thought about having chips
Yeah,
with
to dip
gravy.
in.
It's just it's just not one of those things I've tried or thought about.
Here they got a cocktail sauce.
Cocktail sauce.
Yeah. Ooh, Long John Silver's. Your cocktail sauce is fantastic.
Oh, he likes it. I thought he didn't.
Horseradish?
Oh, he likes the
That's what I'm
spicy
talking
ones,
about.
I guess.
Obviously, we have the classic condiments, including ketchup and mayo.
Long John Silver's also has ketchup, ranch, honey mustard, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, lemon juice.
And of course, we have that tartar sauce from before. This one is homemade.
Okay,
and
y'all have
it's
tartar sauce too.
One of the better ones I've had. Really tangy.
Yes, it's a Long John Silver's tartar sauce, but in the U.S., a lot of places are going to throw at you packets of some sort of tartar sauce. They don't think much about it. Now, Long John Silver's was smart to package their own. I'm hoping that is not just a generic brand that they.
It just looks like mayonnaise.
Literally, the first ingredient was soybean oil.
Oh, of course it was.
Tastes like they do. I've just been informed that the UK spells their tartar sauce Tartare. We spell ours
Tartare.
T-A-R.
Tartar.
Tartar.
Is the word.
Soybean oil.
Water,
yep, you're right.
pickle relish.
High fructose corn syrup.
Good Lord, look at all the ingredients.
Man.
Polysorbate 80, high fructose corn syrup, again, corn syrup.
Goodness. Okay.
All in that one little packet.
Like, I'm not a fan of soybean oil at all, so.
I'm the biggest fan of it.
You might have heard that Brits love to put
tartar sauce.
But you're only half right. What a lot of Brits are actually adding to their chips is this. It's a non-brewed condiment. For something to be called vinegar, it actually has to be fermented to produce the acetic acid that gives it that tang. The trouble with that is that it takes time and money. What you'll find on many fish and chip tables across the UK is therefore this non-brewed condiment. Functionally, it's exactly the same as vinegar. We also have an onion vinegar or a onion vinegar. Condiment. Finally, the drinks. These will obviously vary depending on
Dandelion and burdock. I liked that.
I just want to say that if I go get fish and chips, like in the UK, I'll give whatever you guys normally do. I'll try the malt vinegar on my fish.
I'll even try tartar sauce.
I'll even try your tartar sauce.
Cares?
But at the end of the day, I 100% already know I will prefer my fish just plain fish with nothing on it, just my fried fish and my chips with nothing on them, except maybe a little ketchup to dip with on the side. I'm not a big sauce fan. I don't do sauces. Sauce. I know you love sauces. We're exact opposite that way. She be swimming in some sauce, and I will just be over here with my dry food, and I'm perfectly happy with my dry food because I like to retain the.
No, I don't want it soggy
of it.
That's the difference, though. I don't want it soggy.
Except some ranch. I do like a nice little bit of ranch to dip stuff in, but other than that, not really a big fan of the sauces.
Location you're at, but typically you'll find things like Coke, Fanta, and standard soft drinks.
What I wanted to call attention to
was some of the more traditional British soft drinks. The fish and chip shops in particular have really
We've tried the dandelion and burdock.
Cream soda. I'm not sure
it was pretty good.
Drunk in America, but this is definitely a classic British soft drink. The fact that my granddad used to love cream soda is mostly what I'm basing that on. A regular portion of cod from our local Chippy is £10 when ordered to go. Non-Londoners might wince at that price, but honestly, that's a pretty good deal in the capital. A regular portion of chips from our local costs £3.50. So a complete fish and chip supper would total £13.50.
A comparable
That's for lunch.
This Long John Silver's 3-piece with fries combo meal comes with 2 sets of hush puppies. Sorry, I've been snacking on them all day. There should be more. And 2 sides for $13.99 American.
Okay, but here's the thing. I 100% know
the quality
is going to be better with the British version.
Hands down wins.
Now, this is less expensive than the UK meal and what looks to be more food.
The price of regular cod and regular chips from Assault and Battery is $17.95.
That's a very equivalent.
$17.95 does seem pretty good for the amount of food that you get. The portion of fish was really big. The portion of chips was pretty big. So I can see myself being decently
and the quality was
eating
there.
That portion.
Yeah, the quality was there.
Seafood in general in America has some pretty big price discrepancies, at least here in the tri-state area. It does. Shrimp can cost you anywhere from like $15 to $20 at the grocery store. So this price seems pretty normal for a decent piece of fish. I think any cheaper and I'd be suspicious of the fish.
Don't go to Long John Silver's.
The quality was great though, so I'd be fine with paying the $17.
Fish and chip shops have come under some criticism recently for subjecting their customers to some of the steepest price rises in the UK food scene. Recent data from the Office for National Statistics found that the average price for a portion of fish and chips in the UK is now £9.88. That's up from just £6.48 in 2019, so a 52% increase in that time period. It's not that being gouged by fish and chip shops, they've just suffered a perfect storm of rising costs. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has driven seafood prices up due to increased tariffs on imported fish. Changing climates have affected potato harvests and caused potato prices to rise as well. And of course, this has all been compounded by the increased energy costs all Brits have faced in recent years.
Why would you be importing fish?
This is being imported.
Is it just that the most popular fishes you really can't catch as much off the coast of the UK?
Must be.
Because otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. You're on a big island. Why wouldn't you just be getting your fish in the coast? I don't know.
Locally.
Yeah.
Vinegar maker Sarson's issued a stark warning to Brits last year that unless things improve, almost half of British fish and chip shops could close by 2025.
Wow.
They urge Brits to eat more fish and chips in order to save our chippies and protect our national dish. On average, Brits consume around 7 portions of fish and chips each per year. Raising that to 9 could give our chippies the boost they need.
Okay, 7 portions. That's not that much.
No.
I mean, that's not even once a month. Okay, I was under the impression you guys would be eating a lot more fish and chips than that.
Maybe you make it at home.
I figured he said 7 portions. He didn't say whether it was home or so I assumed you'd be doing like 7 portions a month. Like I figured you'd be eating fish and chips like at least once a week, maybe sometimes twice. It overlap and maybe, maybe twice every 10 days or something. That's what I assumed.
That does seem really low.
Like if I lived in an area with like a fish and chip shop, I would probably, a good one, like where, you can easily access in the UK, I would probably eat fish and chips at least minimum 5 times a month, I'm sure. At least once a week. It'd be like something I do every Friday or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just, I like fish and chips.
Fish Friday.
I mean, maybe it's like you don't want to, a lot of people are trying to stay away from the fried foods or something, I guess, but I like them. So, yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly when and where fish and chips became such a British staple. The general consensus is that fried fish really took off in the UK in the early Victorian era. Charles Dickens even mentions fried fish in Oliver Twist, which was written around that time. Some claim that Marlin's in Bow, London, was the first place to intentionally pair fish with chips around the year 1860. Although it must be said that the Lee family near Manchester also claims this accolade. The number of fish and chip shops in the UK peaked in 1927 with 35,000. Nowadays, that number is closer to 10,500, according to research from Seafish.
That's a lot.
That number isn't as high as it used to be.
10,500.
More than McDonald's, Subway, Greggs, and Nando's combined.
Combined?
Finally, some of my favourite fish and chip facts. Fish and chips are actually most popular in Belfast, where 54% of residents report eating them at least once a month. The UK actually started a National Fish and Chip Day in 2015. This year's being celebrated on June 6th. Fish and chips were traditionally served wrapped in old newspapers. This practice was banned in the 1980s after people realised the ink was leaching onto the food. Although you will still see people serving them in fake food-safe newspapers.
I've seen that somewhere.
In the UK is the Harry Ramsden's location in Bournemouth, which has space for 420 diners.
That blows my mind. 10,500.
That's a lot of fish shops.
That's a ton. Like that's crazy, and that's like way down compared to what it was at its peak.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, the Belfast has the highest per capita consumption of fish and chips.
Yeah.
At roughly what is it? Once a month?
Yeah.
Once a month, guys. What's going on? Like I would like literally be over there eating fish and chips once a week and wouldn't even think I was eating a lot of it. Like seriously, once a month, man. You guys aren't even eating it.
Maybe we're just unhinged.
Yeah, maybe I am just unhinged. I went into this assuming that it would be perfectly normal that the average person in the UK ate fish and chips, once a week, maybe twice a week.
Yeah, I would have guessed that too.
Like between you got 14 meals between lunches and dinners 7 days a week. I would have assumed, 1 or 2 of those 14 meals would have been fish and chips.
Yeah.
Since I know it is a very popular dish.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the healthiest, but if you're just doing it once a week or something, I don't really think that's that big a deal. If you're eating pretty healthy the rest of the time.
Yeah.
But either way, I love fish and chips, and when we come over to the UK, I'm probably going to go to multiple fish and chip shops.
I was going to say, you're going to do a tour.
Yeah, I probably will, because I love fish and chips, and I would like to try. See, I'm not someone who's big on seafood, just like you aren't. Like I've never been into like lobster and clam and crabs and oysters and shrimp. I've tried different types of seafood and never been a huge fan.
Yeah.
But the one thing I've loved is fish, fried fish. I could take or leave the chips, honestly. I like the fried fish. Is flounder just a popular thing in the U.S.? Or do they actually do that in the UK as well? Because obviously they didn't touch on it here, either in the US or the UK, which was surprising to me. I thought flounder would have been one of the ones they would have thought about. But I am jealous because we can, I guess, get fish and chips in the Midwest at like some like...
Well, it's not the same.
But it's not the same. It's like the fast food type of fish and chips. It's been frozen. It's not fresh. It's like... And it's just not that good. When we go to the beach next time, I'm definitely going to get some fish and chips. But that's, we literally, good fish and chips are literally hours and hours and hours away, as much as I know.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything about the UK and Ireland. Until next time, peace.
Bye.